Hello YouTube, welcome back. This video I'm going to talk about some of the things I'm going to be doing as of next week to help me transition out of a bulking phase into a cutting phase. Because as of next week, I'm going to be trying to lose some fat, which is exciting. The goal is to lose 3 kilos in 5 weeks before my trip to America. And yeah, I've been bulking for the past 16 weeks. So I'm used to eating a lot of food and having a lot of calories to play around with, which means basically I've been able to eat what I want and not really think about, I guess, what I'm spending my calories on. I've been trying to find things to add calories. So it's a totally different mindset that I'm going to have to take as of next week to make sure I don't go over my calorie budget, which is obviously going to be lower because now I'm trying to lose fat. So one of the things I like to do when I've got less calories to spend on food is I like to use intermittent fasting. And the reason for this is because if you've only got, well, first of all, intermittent fasting, if you don't know, is where you have like an eating window where you eat all your windows within that time frame. So usually it's around 8 hours. That's when you'll eat all your food, and then the other 16 hours is when you fast, and part of that time will be when you're sleeping, which makes it easy. And the reason I like intermittent fasting is because if you've got a limited time to eat your meals and spend your calories, then it allows you to eat larger meals. Because obviously if you're trying to break, just say you're like cutting calories are 1500 calories, if you're trying to break them up over the whole day, like over 16 hours, then obviously you're going to be eating tinier meals than what you will if you're trying to break up 1500 calories over 8 hours. And I like to eat larger meals. I think a lot of people go wrong with this fat loss thing in thinking they have to eat frequently and tiny meals in order to boost your metabolism. It's totally false. Calories matter most for fat loss, not meal frequency. And what tiny meals do is they actually, I find anyway, everyone's different, so take what resonates and leave it if it doesn't. But I find that if I'm eating tiny little meals, I am not satisfied afterwards. I'm still hungry, and then I'm looking for my next meal, like, when is it, and I just am always thinking about food. Whereas if I'm in a fasting phase, it's so easy just to stay in the fasting phase, and then once you start eating, it's like, okay, now it's eating time, and you eat a bigger meal, you feel satisfied, you don't feel hungry afterwards, and so it's just a lot easier to get by to your next meal. So that's the first thing I'm going to be doing. The second thing I'm going to be doing is being a lot more careful with what I'm drinking. So I won't be drinking as much alcohol. I have been drinking wine, like a glass of wine with dinner most nights recently, because I've had calories and I can fit it. Whereas now I'm going to be a lot more careful. Drinking your calories doesn't fill you up as much as eating your calories. So I'm just pretty much going to be sticking to water, black tea, herbal tea, black coffee, and ditching the milky coffees, ditching alcohol. I might have a glass of wine, 1 or 2 nights of the week. But then if I choose to have a glass of wine, I'm going to take off whatever carbs I'll have with my dinner. Just say, like, it's about replacing that. If you want to have a glass of wine, then you've got to sacrifice something else, basically. So I'm just going to have to be a lot more careful with what I'm choosing to drink, and obviously where I'm spending my calories. And I don't think spending them on drinks is worth it, especially because they don't fill you up that much. So that's number 2. The third thing I'm going to be doing is I'm not going to be cutting out carbs because it's not necessary, but I am going to be lowering my carb intake, because when you're losing fat, usually the first thing that will come off your calories is carbs, because you still want to be hitting a high protein number, and that's just to maintain as much muscle mass as possible. And you still want to be eating fat because that will help you feel full after your meals, and also it's necessary for your body, basically. Whereas carbs are not essential for your body, but they do help with performance in the gym and many other things. So carbs are not bad, and I'll still be eating them. I'll just be eating less of them. So if I have pasta one night, I'll have a smaller portion of pasta and bulk up the meal with more vegetables instead. So that's what I like to do. I like to pretty much eat more vegetables in place of the carbs. So I'm still eating the same volume of food because I like to eat big meals, but yeah, it'll be less calories for the same volume thanks to the vegetables. So there's some of the things that I'm going to be doing. I hope this video helped you and made sense. I'm really struggling to film these videos because you can't edit them, and it's very difficult to try and do them in one take, and I don't want to be cutting out things and editing and all that stuff. I'd rather just do it. So anyway, I hope this helped. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. I'll have that in the description box, and yeah, that's it.